Hey guys, it's Chloe, and today I am here with a brand new video. Today I am here with my October wrap-up, and normally I would do a costume for my October wrap-up, but you guys saw two different costumes from me this month with my two different original tags. I will link them both down below. The first one is the Rocky Horror book tag, and the second one is the Shrek book tag. I'll link both of those down below. I did costumes for both of them, and honestly, I really just don't feel like being in costume today. So this month I read a total of 8 books. I originally had a 3-book TBR, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And as we go through all the books, 3 of the books I read were actually pretty short, so I was able to get through them really fast. 2 of the books I read went for the A to Z book challenge, which I haven't had any books go for that in a while. So let's just go ahead and get started. The first book I read was American Royals by Katharine McGee. This book came out at the beginning of September. I received my ARC from BookCon, but I was unable to get to it before the release date. I listened to the audiobook and I highly recommend it. The book, the audiobook, all of it I highly recommend. It is such a good read. This is basically as if America had a royal family instead of a presidential democracy. Basically, George Washington was crowned king instead of president, and this is his family 200 years later. It was such a good read. I gave it 4 stars. I really wanted to give it 5, but the ending was such a cliffhanger, and I was worried at first because I thought it was a standalone, and the ending left so many things unanswered and opened, but it turns out there is going to be a sequel, and I am very excited to pick that up. The next book I read was As Old as Time by Liz Braswell. This is the 3rd book in the Twisted Tales series, which is basically Disney retellings, and I listened to the audiobook for this as well. This one I gave 4 stars. I thought it was a good audiobook. It had a lot of similar vibes from the original Beauty and the Beast, but it also had a lot of different twists that I thought were very interesting for this retelling. I believe the 6th or 7th book just came out, and then there's another one coming out very early next year, so I definitely want to keep catching up on this series. This was book number 3, so I'm like 3 or 4 books behind now, but I am slowly working on catching up on this series. Next, I picked up Landry Park by Bethany Hagen. This was my unwrapped book for the month of October, and I also listened to the audiobook for this as well. This one I was unsure of at first because it is a dystopian, and I'm kind of out of that dystopian phase. It was more of like a 2013 thing for me, as well as a lot of other booktubers and book people, I believe. This, I kind of like to compare it to The Selection a little bit, because there is sort of a system where you have the higher up people, and then you have the lower people. I can't remember the words for them. There is a sequel to this book that I will be interested in checking out. I do own it, but I'll be interested in reading that just based off of how this one ended. And I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars. It was good. I don't necessarily think it is a 4-star book, but I also didn't find it to be a 3-star book either, so 3.5 stars. The next book I read was Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell, and illustrations done by Faith Erin Hicks. This is Rainbow Rowell's new graphic novel that came out. Perfect for the fall season. I'm really glad that I got to pick this up in October. It is following Josie and Deja on their last day at the pumpkin patch. And oh my goodness, this was such a cute read. I highly recommend it. I gave it 5 stars. My copy's from the library, but I'm really excited to be hopefully picking up my own copy very soon. I loved this one. So next I decided to read a children's book, and it was called Zero the Hero. I decided to pick this up because I needed a book that started with the letter Z for my A to Z book challenge. So I decided that for the harder letters like Z and X, I'm resorting to children's books, and this was the first one that I picked up. I decided I'm not going to rate it, but this is basically a book about numbers, and they don't think 0 is a very important person or important number, and then they learn the hard way when 0 is not around and the letters attack. I don't really have many opinions on it. It was just a really quick 15-minute read for me, and it helped fulfill that challenge. The next book I read was Juniper Lemon's Happiness Index by Julie Israel, and this was an audiobook that I decided to pick up. I thought the cover was really pretty, and I decided I just needed an audiobook to listen to, so I picked this one up. I gave this book 3 stars. I don't really have an opinion on it. It's not like my all-time favorite contemporary, but it was a pretty good contemporary to read, and honestly I'm probably going to forget about it pretty soon. Next, I read Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills, and this is the Once Upon a Read-Along book of the month for October. This is also the only Emma Mills book that I had not read that I owned, and I'm glad I got to pick it up. This is such a fast-paced read. I was going to get the audio for this, but since there is not an audiobook, I ended up reading it via ebook, and it was so fast. I loved it. I did give this book 4 stars because I did find at some points our main character was very annoying. But other than that, I really enjoyed the book. I really enjoyed our main male character, Gideon, and 4 stars. In the description below, I'm going to link our live show that we did for this book where you'll get my thoughts as well as Kathleen from For the Love of Books thoughts. And the last book I read was a very short reread, and it was Very Good Lives by J.K. Rowling. This is her 2008 speech to the Harvard graduates, and it's just a very, I guess, inspirational speech on failure and the importance of imagination. It was just a very quick reread for me. It also went for the letter V for the A to Z book challenge, so that is how I knocked out 2 letters in 1 month, because we're in the last 2 months of the year and I need to knock out these last couple letters that I got. Last time I read this was in 2014, so now I'm reading it again 5 years later, and it was just a little inspirational speech. I don't really have an opinion. At the time I gave it 5 stars, so that's what it still says on Goodreads for me. So those are all of the books that I completed in the month of October. Currently what I'm reading is Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha Nagan. This was on my TBR. I am reading it. I am currently 78 pages into it. I don't think I'm going to finish it in time for release. It comes out on November 5th. At the time of filming this, I have like a week and 2 days to finish it. My semester has been so stressful right now, so I'm not really sure if I'm going to finish it, but hopefully I will be able to. And so far I'm enjoying it. I'm not very far into it to have a solid opinion though. So guys, that is all I have for this video today. I will be at Y'all Fest the weekend of, I believe it's the 8th and 9th. So if you're going to be at Y'all Fest and you see me, please come say hi. I'm really excited to meet any of you guys that might be attending. I will be at a couple of different signings. I'll be at the YA Smackdown, and that's all I know. Oh, I'll also be at Fierce Friday. So I'm really excited for Y'all Fest. If you're going to be there, I hope I get to see you. I hope you're excited. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to be there. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to check out my vlog channel, Coalescence, it's linked in the description below. And if you like to see here, please go ahead and click subscribe. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, so click subscribe so you can be updated for when I post those. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!
In the darkness, I don't feel so cold.